Hello and welcome to the Mastermind semi-finals with me, John Humphrys. In the spotlight tonight are Tim Hall, a researcher whose specialist subject is R.E.M. Sally Wilson, an IT service manager. She'll be answering questions on David Niven. Harry Heath, a buyer whose subject is Father Ted. And Ashton Davis, an English teacher whose specialist subject is John Wesley. A place in the final awaits the winner of tonight's semi-final and the prospect of becoming the nation's Mastermind champion, as well as winning that rather lovely glass bowl. But first, they will face 2 minutes on their chosen specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on their general knowledge. Who will claim that place? Let's find out and ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Tim Hall.
Your occupation?
Researcher.
And your chosen subject?
R.E.M.
The American rock band formed in Athens, Georgia in 1980. Here we go. Mike Mills and Bill Berry first met while they were at school at Macon City, Georgia. The other two members, Peter Buck and Michael Stipe, met when Buck worked in a record shop in Athens, Georgia. What was the name of the shop?
Wuxtry.
Yep. R.E.M's debut single was released in July 1981 on the Hibtone record label. The A-side was the song Radio Free Europe. What song was on the B-side?
Sitting Still.
Yep. Which early R.E.M. song written by Berry refers to the television show of the ocean explorer Jacques Cousteau and includes the lyrics, "Swimming underwater with my microphone, I'd record noises in the aqua zone."
Calypso.
Narrator. The lyrics for the song Fireplace from the Document album are partly based on a speech given in the 18th century by the founder of the American Shaker religious sect. What was her name?
Mother Jones.
Mother Ann Lee. Some of the band's early performances were at a pizza restaurant in Greensboro, North Carolina. Later in their career, they took time off from recording the Reckoning album to play one last gig at the restaurant before it closed. What was the name of the restaurant?
Greens.
Fridays. Which song on the album Reckoning was written by Mills about his girlfriend Ingrid Shaw? It's a plea for her not to leave Athens for Maryland, where she intended to return for the summer.
Don't Go Back to Rockville.
Yep. At a party in New York in 1980, Buck and Stipe met a rock critic who was later mentioned in the lyrics of It's the End of the World as We Know It, as well as Lenny Bruce, Leonard Bernstein and Leonid Brezhnev. What was his name?
Lester Bangs.
Yeah. Green, released in 1988, was the first R.E.M. album to include full lyrics for a song on the liner notes, but this was only for one song. Which one?
World Leader Pretend.
Yep. In 1989, R.E.M. released a cover version of the Syd Barrett song Dark Globe. It was given away free as a square flexi disc in the January 1990 edition of which American teen magazine?
Smash Hits.
Sassy. Which musician from another Athens band was a guest vocalist on the 1991 Out of Time album? She sang on the tracks Shiny Happy People, Me in Honey and Country Feedback.
Kate Pearson.
Yes. The lyrics to the Sidewinder Sleeps Tonight mention an American children's author. Stipe can be heard to laugh after he sings his name. Which author?
Dr. Seuss.
Yep. And we are out of time. And you had no passes. And Tim, you have scored 7 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Sally Wilson.
And Sally, you were pipped at the post in the heats, but you were the highest scoring runner-up, so you're back taking the place of the Dana guest who can't be here, I'm afraid. So thanks for coming. Your occupation?
IT service manager.
And your chosen subject?
David Niven.
The Oscar-winning British actor whose career spans 6 decades from the 1930s. Here we go. David Niven was born in London in 1910 and had an unsettled childhood. He was expelled from prep school for stealing, but later joined a public school in 1923. Which one?
Stowe.
Yeah. After a period in the army, Niven went to America. An actress, the sister of a friend with whom he was then staying, was the first person to introduce him to the Hollywood film community. What was her name?
Loretta Young.
Yep, in a 1938 film, he was praised for his performance as a drunken but brave fighter pilot in the First World War. What's the title of the film?
The Dawn Patrol.
Yes, as his reputation grew, Niven was signed to star in a film opposite Betty Davis, which was later cancelled. 12 years later, it was made into a very successful film, but with a different cast. What's the title of the film?
The African Queen.
Yes. What's the first name of the radio operator in A Matter of Life and Death, whom Niven's character, squadron leader Peter Carter, claims to love? When he's asked whether he'd be prepared to die for her, he replies, "I would, but I'd rather live."
June.
Yes, in many of his films, Niven would introduce into the dialogue the surname of an old friend who was best man at both of his weddings. What was this surname?
Trubshaw.
Yeah, from the 1950s onwards, Niven gradually took on more television roles. In the mid-60s, he starred with Charles Boyer in a comedy crime series. The biographer Sheridan Morley called it the best crime caper ever made for the small screen. What was his title?
The Rogues.
Yeah, during the shooting of The Guns of Navarone, Niven cut his lip in a tank of dirty water at Shepperton Studios and became critically ill with septicemia. Which London hospital was he taken to for what turned out to be protracted treatment?
St Bart's.
Guys, in the 1964 film The Pink Panther, Niven plays an aristocratic jewel thief nicknamed the Phantom. What was the name of his character?
Sir Charles Lytton.
Yes, Niven had 4 children, 2 sons with his first wife and 2 adopted daughters with his second. The eldest, David Jr., was a producer on 2 of his father's films. One was Better Late Than Never in 1983. What was the title of the other?
Escape to Athena.
Correct. In Better Late Than Never, Niven sang on screen for the first time when he sang a song by Noel Coward, his friend and godfather to his eldest son. What's the title of the song?
I went to a wonderful party.
I went to a marvellous party. No passes. You have scored, however, Sally, 9 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Harry Heath.
Your occupation?
Buyer.
And your chosen subject?
Father Ted.
A popular 1990s telly sitcom. Here we go. In the series Father Ted, the 3 priests on Craggy Island are under the authority of a bishop played by Jim Norton, who in one episode describes the trio as the cast of Police Academy. Which bishop?
Len Brennan.
Yep, many of the outdoor filming locations for the show, including the exterior shots of the parochial house, are in which Irish county?
Clare.
Yep. In the episode of Song for Europe, Ted and Dougal's entry for the Eurosong contest, entitled My Lovely Horse, features the line, I want to shower you with what?
Sugar lumps.
Yep. In The Passion of St. Tibulus, where is Ted referring to when he tells Father Hernandez that he misses the noise and the lights and the whole buzz of the big city?
Wexford.
Yes, the 2 writers of Father Ted, Graham Linehan and Arthur Matthews, first met in the 1980s when they both worked for an Irish music and politics magazine. What's its title?
Hot Press.
Yep. In Chirpy Burpy, Cheap Sheep, when Ted and Dougal are trying to get a sheep called Chris back into shape for a competition, they take him to a business described as Craggy Island's premier isolation tank centre. What's the name of this company?
Lonesome Float.
Yes. Who directed every episode of the first 2 series, including the Christmas special? He went on to work on Cold Feet, Little Britain, and the film Alan Partridge, Alpha Papa.
Declan Lowney.
Yes, which actor plays the recurring character Father Larry Duff? He's often called on his mobile phone by Ted at inconvenient moments, which result in accidents while he's skiing, driving, and playing the target in a knife-throwing act.
Tony Guilfoyle.
Yeah, in Grant Unto Him Eternal Rest, of the symptoms brought on by drinking a bottle of a fictional brand of floor polish caused Father Jack to be mistaken for dead. What brand was the floor polish?
Purge.
Yeah. What's the name of the winner of the 1996 Lovely Girls competition? In Rockahula Ted, she wins the contest after a tie-break to see who has the loveliest laugh.
Imelda.
Yes. In the episode Tentacles of Doom, Ted sarcastically describes a certain game which Dougal chooses to play in preference to chess as the sport of kings. What game?
Buckaroo.
Yep. In Escape from Victory, which Irish comedian plays the referee for the annual All Priests Over 75's 5-a-side indoor football challenge match between Craggy Island and Rugged Island?
Sean Byrne.
Jason Byrne.
Jason Byrne.
Oh, it was your last question. You'd have had them all right other than that. However, you have scored 11 points. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Ashton Davis,
Your occupation?
English teacher,
And your chosen subject?
John Wesley.
The 18th century Anglican clergyman who co-founded the Methodist movement in the Church of England. Here we go. Which Oxford college did Wesley graduate from in 1724? He once described university exams as an idle, useless interruption of useful studies.
Christchurch.
Yep. In the 1720s, Wesley became an ordained Anglican priest. Over the next few years, he became associated with a group of Oxford Christians known as the Holy Club, which member of the club encouraged Wesley and his brother Charles to begin visiting prisoners in August 1730.
Whitefield.
William Morgan. In 1735, Wesley presented Queen Caroline with a copy of a book which had been written and dedicated to the Queen by his father. It was a commentary on a particular book of the Bible. Which one?
Job.
Yeah. Wesley spent around 2 years in America in the mid-1730s. In which city in Georgia did he serve as an Anglican parish priest?
Savannah.
Yeah. Soon after he returned to England in 1738, Wesley began to preach outdoors, a practice which was opposed by the Church of England. Who confronted Wesley when he preached outdoors in Bath in early June 1739? He told Wesley that his sermons frightened people out of their wits.
Nash.
Yes. In July 1740, the Fetter Lane Society, a London congregation that included Wesley and some of his followers who became known as Methodists, split over a disagreement between Wesley and a Moravian Christian preacher. What was the preacher's name?
Malta.
Yeah. Which school was founded by Wesley in Bristol in 1748 and became popular with his followers? Wesley said that the school syllabus would make each pupil a better scholar than 9 in 10 of the graduates at Oxford or Cambridge.
Tribeca.
Kingswood. In the late 1740s, Wesley fell in love with Grace Murray, a widow from Newcastle. He was bitterly disappointed when Murray married another Methodist preacher in October 1749. What was his name?
Bennett.
Yep. At the Methodist Conference in May 1755, Wesley argued against separation from the Church of England, which finally took place after his death. In which city was the conference held?
Leeds.
Yep. The final break with the Church of England became inevitable when Wesley, citing pastoral necessity, broke church law in 1784 and ordained 2 men to assist the superintendent chosen for America. What was the superintendent's name?
Coke.
It was indeed. No passes, Ashton. You have 8 points. Very close specialist round there. Let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 7 points, Tim. 3rd place, 8 points, Ashton. 2nd place, 9 points, Sally. 1st place, 11 points, Harry. So now it is the general knowledge round, and if there's a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, there has to be a tie break. So let's ask Tim to join us again, please. And you start this round, Tim, with 7 points. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. Here we go. Tricorn, pillbox, and Panama are styles of what clothing accessory?
Hat.
Yep. The adjective Jovian can refer collectively to the 4 outermost planets of our solar system, but is derived from the Latin name for which one?
Jupiter.
Yes. A horse racing fixture that's held on an artificial surface, usually made from sand rather than on turf, is often classified by the letters AW. What do those letters stand for?
All weather.
Yep. Which actress co-stars with Fred Astaire in the 1948 musical film Easter Parade? She plays a dancer named Hannah Brown.
Ginger Rogers.
Judy Garland. A First World War recruitment poster designed by James Montgomery Flagg features an American national symbol in the form of a white-haired man dressed in red, white and blue, and the words, "I want you for the US Army." What's the name given to this man?
Uncle Sam.
Yeah. John Gay's The Beggar's Opera, about a group of thieves in 18th century London, is the basis for a play with music by Bertolt Brecht and Kurt Weill, first performed in 1928. What's the title of the Brecht play?
The Threepenny Opera.
Yeah. Vert is the heraldic term for what colour?
Green.
Yep. The Willis Tower, previously named the Sears Tower and once the tallest building in the world, is a landmark in which American city?
Chicago.
Yep. A television drama series which ran from 2004 to 2010 featured the survivors of a plane crash who found themselves stranded on a mysterious Pacific island. Which series?
Lost.
Yep. What was the name of the draftsman who designed the London Underground tube map?
Reynolds.
Harry Beck. In ruminant animals such as cattle, the rumen, the reticulum, the omasum, and the abomasum are the 4 chambers of an organ of the digestive system. Which organ?
Stomach.
Yeah. Which American singer had her 4th consecutive UK #1 album with Lover in 2019?
Taylor Swift.
Yes. The Greek words for same and name are combined to form an English linguistic term for a word that's pronounced and spelled the same as another word, but is different in meaning. What is the linguistic term?
Homonym.
Yes. Which European country was unified as a result of the 19th century political and cultural movement known as the Risorgimento? The process culminated in the annexation of the Papal States in 1870.
Italy.
Correct. In August 2020, the Ugandan athlete Joshua Cheptegei recorded a time of 12 minutes, 35.36 seconds to knock 2 seconds off the world record for what distance?
5,000 metres.
Yes. Whose Dictionary of Music and Musicians, first published in 4 volumes in 1889, is widely regarded as the standard reference work on the subject?
Grove.
Yes. Which technology company appointed the computer scientist Sundar Pichai as its CEO in 2015? He also became head of the organization's parent company, Alphabet, in 2019.
Google.
Correct. No passes, Tim. You now have a total of 22 points. And next up, Ashton, please. And you start out with 8 points, Ashton. The score to beat, as you have just heard, is 22. So, here we go. The letter H is represented in the NATO phonetic alphabet by a word for an establishment that provides accommodation for travellers and tourists. What word?
Hotel.
Yeah. Hooker and scrum half are played in positions in which sport?
Rugby.
Yeah. Which singer had her first UK #1 single in 2013 with We Can't Stop? She topped the chart again later the same year with a song entitled Wrecking Ball.
Miley Cyrus.
Yes. The Palk Strait, an inlet of the Bay of Bengal, separates southern India from which island country?
Sri Lanka.
Yeah. The jukebox musical Sunshine on Leith, which was adapted into a 2013 film, is based on the songs of which Scottish recording duo?
Claims.
Yes. What's the name of the police constable played in a long-running television series by Jack Warner? The show ran from 1955 until 1976.
Dixon of Green.
Yes. George Dixon. Which element has the atomic number 4 and the chemical symbol Be?
Beryllium.
Yeah. The Oscar-nominated 2002 film City of God is set in the slums of a Brazilian city. Which one?
Rio.
Yeah. What's the title of the best-selling 2019 debut novel by Candice Carty-Williams? The book is about a young Jamaican-British woman living in South London, and reviewers have compared the title character to a politicised Bridget Jones.
Queenie.
Yes. What common name for the hard, heavy timber produced by certain tropical and subtropical trees is particularly applied to that obtained from the American hornbeam tree?
Teak.
Ironwood. In September 2020, a British athlete set a new world record for the farthest distance run in 1 hour when he ran 21.33 kilometres in Brussels. Which athlete?
Farah.
Yeah. What French name is given to a small, rich cake or biscuit usually served after a meal? The name translates as little oven.
54.
Yeah. The hanging of an abolitionist in 1859 inspired the words of the popular ballad that would later provide the tune for the Battle Hymn of the Republic. What was his name?
John Brown.
Yes. In 2005, the Royal Mail assigned a postcode to a remote island in the South Atlantic to enable residents to order goods online more easily. The postcode TDCU1ZZ is for what island?
Tristan da Cunha.
Yeah. The Zanen and the Toggenburg, which both originated in Switzerland, are breeds of what domesticated animal?
Cat.
Goat. In a 1933 film musical, a Broadway director called Julian Marsh says to an inexperienced actress, Sawyer, you're going out a youngster, but you've got to come back a star. What film?
Sunset Boulevard.
42nd Street. Global credit rating agencies typically assign letter grades to indicate a government's credit worthiness. The major agencies use the same 3-letter code to indicate the highest rating. What is it?
AAA.
AAA is correct. Ashton, you have a total of 22 points. And now Sally again, please. And Sally, you start out with 9 points. 22 is the score to beat, to be in with a chance to get through to the grand final. Here we go. December 1963, Idlewild, New York's international airport, was renamed in honor of which American president?
Kennedy.
Yep. What's the English name for the confection of spun sugar, which is known in France as barbe à papa or daddy's beard?
Rum Barber.
Candy floss. The National Three Peaks Challenge involves climbing Mount Snowdon in Wales, Scafell Pike in England, and another mountain in Scotland. Which one?
Ben Nevis.
Yep. In 1952, the jazz tune Sweet Georgia Brown was adopted by a famous American exhibition basketball team as its official theme song. What's the name of the team?
Harlem Globetrotters.
Yep. Anvers is the French name for which Belgian city?
Bruges.
Antwerp. Which television drama series, first broadcast in 2016, stars Anna Friel as a detective sergeant in the Metropolitan Police Murder Squad who experiences frequent blackouts?
Vera.
Marcella. In one of the basic ballet positions, the body is supported on one leg with the other leg extended directly behind the body with a straight knee and pointed foot. What's the name of this position?
Arabesque.
Correct. An Unexpected Journey, The Desolation of Smaug, and The Battle of the Five Armies are the subtitles of the 3 films in a fantasy film series that began in 2012. What series?
Lord of the Rings.
The Hobbit. Which one of the North American Great Lakes extends furthest east?
Oregon.
Ontario. In 1904, a chocolate manufacturer born in York gave half his wealth to create 3 charitable trusts to support social research, adult education, and the Society of Friends. What was his name?
Roundtree.
Yeah. Which figure from German folklore is the title character of a play by Goethe, an opera by Gounod, and a symphony by Liszt?
Faust.
Yes. What's the professional name of the bass guitarist William George Perks? He joined the Rolling Stones in 1962 and played with the band for about 30 years.
Bill Wyman.
Yep. A Chalcedony rhinoceros and an agate hippopotamus, both part of the British Royal Collection, were created around 1900 by a company named after a Russian jeweller. What's the name of the company?
Fabergé.
Yes. In an 1850 novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne, the main character, Hester Prynne, must wear a scarlet letter as a symbol of her sin. Which letter?
A.
Yep. Which city is the capital and main port of the island Republic of Mauritius?
Bridgetown.
Port Louis. What name, a blend of the words emotion and icon, refers to a combination of punctuation marks used in mobile phone text messages to convey a certain sentiment? An example is a colon, a dash, and a closed bracket to represent a smiley face.
Emoji.
Emoticon. A royal chateau about 40 miles southeast of Paris and originally built as a medieval hunting lodge was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1981. Which chateau?
Versailles.
Fontainebleau. In 2019, which band had their 8th UK #1 album with Everyday Life?
The Pogues.
Coldplay. You have no passes. Sally, you've scored 18 points. And finally, Harry again, please. And Harry, you start out with 11 points, and 22 is still the score to beat if you are to get through to the grand final. 2 minutes of general knowledge, starting now. A flautist is a person who plays what musical instrument?
Flute.
Yep, an imperial gallon is equal to how many pints?
20.
8. A Grammy and Emmy Award-winning actor who starred in the films Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Mary Poppins played a crime-solving doctor from 1993 to 2001 in the television series Diagnosis Murder. What's the actor's name?
Dick Van Dyke.
Yep, the letters PA, which often appear after a salary in a job advert, are an abbreviation of a Latin term that means each year. What term?
Per annum.
Yep. Which island city-state in Southeast Asia became an independent country in 1965 after it separated from the Federation of Malaysia?
Singapore.
Yes. What's the English title of the Christmas carol known in the original Latin version as Adeste Fideles?
Come All You Faithful.
Yes. In which Shakespeare played as Antonio borrow money from Shylock on behalf of his friend Bassanio to enable him to woo Portia?
Merchant of Venice.
Yes. Between 2004 and 2009, Andy Roddick appeared in the final of the men's singles tournament at Wimbledon 3 times, but lost to the same player each time. Which one?
Federer.
Yep. Which photographic agency was founded in 1947 by a group of war photographers that included Robert Capa and Henri Cartier-Bresson?
Pathé.
Magnum. Jerry Goffin and Carole King wrote the song The Locomotion for their young babysitter who topped the American chart with it in 1962. Under what name?
Kylie.
Little Ava. What French term translated as of strictness is used in English to describe something that's required on account of etiquette or custom?
Pass.
Which Spanish actress married the actor Javier Bardem in 2010? They starred together in the films Jamón and Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Penelope Cruz.
Yes, a nuclear physicist who helped develop the hydrogen bomb for the Soviet Union, later campaigned for human rights and against the arms race, and was awarded the 1975 Nobel Peace Prize. What was his name?
Sakharov.
Yep. A television comedy drama series first shown on Netflix in 2019 stars Asa Butterfield as the adolescent schoolboy Otis and Gillian Anderson as his mother, a therapist named Jean. What's the title of the series?
Sex Education.
Yep. The Whig statesman and farmer Charles Townshend earned a nickname because he pioneered the use of a certain vegetable in crop rotation in the 18th century. What nickname?
Turnip.
Yes. Which architect, best known for his large civic projects, designed scenery for the original production of his friend J.M. Barrie's plays Quality Street and Peter Pan?
Lutyens.
Yes. Macchiato and Cortado are styles of hot drink with steamed milk added. What drink?
Coffee.
Yes, a city in eastern South Africa between Johannesburg and Durban was named after the Spanish wife of the British governor of the Cape Colony from 1847 to 1852. Which city?
Port Elizabeth.
Ladysmith. You had one pass, Harry, the French term translated as of strictness, de rigueur, but doesn't matter because you have scored 24 points. Well, what a cracking contest. Let's have a look at all of those scores. In fourth place with 18 points, Sally. Joint second place, 22 points apiece, Tim and Ashton. First place with 24 points, Harry, which means, of course, that he goes through to the grand final. Congratulations to him. And if you would like to be a contender in the next series, do go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. And do join us again next time for more Masterminds. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.
When I saw that my fellow two contestants had already reached 22, and I was very aware that in the heats I'd only scored 18, I was thinking that maybe, you know, I'd come as far as I was ever going to come. But it all just sort of fell well for me in the final round, I think. Dick Van Dyke.
Yep.
Merchant of Venice.
Yes.
Lutyens.
Yes.
It was a really big surprise when I heard that I'd won, because I remembered that I'd had that pass, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be terrible if I found out that I got 22 and a pass, so therefore not in the tie-break in that scenario.
Doesn't matter, because you have scored 24 points.
Scoring 24 in the end was such a relief, because I'd kind of built it up to here, and it was like, ah. So yeah, I can't really put it into words.
First place with 24 points, Harry.
Being in the grand final seems very kind of august and important. So yeah, I don't know, it'll be a mad experience. I've got to start revising now. Eagle-eyed viewers will probably recall that I had quite a floral shirt on last time. I've gone for the sort of classical stripe this time around. For the final, I think I'm going to have to get online and find something quite exceptional to really up the game. I'll put some thought into it. Who knows? Who knows?